Hello, I thought I'd make a quick video to describe Asana and how we could use this for Civil Air Patrol. So you might be getting an invitation, or maybe you've already received one from me saying you're invited to the squarehats.com in Asana, and you can click the accept invite. It's going to take you through some screens. Don't feel like you have to add any details in terms of inviting other people or joining other teams. Just click continue until the point where it brings up your profile and you enter your initial password. It's also a place where you can add a picture or an icon that would kind of be your representation inside the program. We'll show you here in a minute. So once you get logged in, let me know if you have any problems with that. Otherwise, once you get logged in, it'll look like this. We're going to just come right over to Asana and we're going to log in. And this is kind of the entryway. Every time you use it, you can actually save your password in some browsers so you don't have to retype it all the time. But once you log in, you're going to see some screens that look like this. So let's take you through the general real estate up here. Right now, I'm using a couple of teams, and I use this both professionally and personally. So I actually have a lot more teams, but this is a view that hopefully is a lot more similar to yours, where you'll notice I have two teams here, CAP TX 388 for senior members and then CAP TX 388 for cadet staff. And I'll look at those here in more detail, but starting at the top, you have my favorites. Right now I have an administration here, and we'll show you how to add that and remove that. And then reports. This is where you could click on tasks you've created or completed, things like that. I don't use that all that much. I'll show you why here in a minute. And then here's your teams. Teams are organized into groups of people that are collaborating on similar projects and tasks. By design, I'm separating senior members from cadet staff. So here's our senior member projects. And if you open up the team, you'll see the list of projects, but also a team calendar and potentially conversations that we could have at the team level. Inside of each team, you'll have projects, and let's look at the admin project for a second. There's actually two types of projects within Asana, and I'm going to show you this here in a minute, mainly just for your reference. If you were to create a project, you might want to know the difference. This is called a list project, and you know this because it has the word list here under the project, and it's just a list of tasks. What's nice about this is whenever you start adding a task, you can just create tasks on the fly and say, this is a new task, and then this is task 2, and you just keep adding. And if you wanted a new section, like the goals and the engagement and the electronic records, you could just start typing your title. So this is new section, and then you hit the colon, and so it creates the section name. And to rearrange tasks, all you do is grab these little dots right next to it and move it down, and you can rearrange your tasks. So while we're looking at tasks here, this is a new task. You can set a due date for the task, like due today. You can assign it to different people. Right now I'm going to assign it to myself. And then you can actually include description notes. But even on top of that, you can actually think that this new task is really a collection of subtasks. So this is where you can actually have subtask. And then you could list out subtasks. And the definition of a subtask is just additional work or details that can have an independent due date or an independent subtask or an assignment. And each one of these can be independently managed. And then whenever they're done, they just click off. And then whenever you're done with this, you're done. You'll notice it just dropped off the list. And that happens to be because up here I have my view set to only incomplete tasks. If you wanted to see everything, you just change your view and you can see the ones that we just completed. Otherwise, you can just look at what's still to do here. So that's the idea of kind of the list view. So if I were to create another project, and this is just going to be a sample, I'm calling it a board for a reason because we just looked at the list. Now we're going to look at boards. And you can set the privacy to be public to the team or just specific project members or just for yourself. A board project is a little bit different. It looks like it's more Kanbans. That's a new style that if you think of it as just a big whiteboard and you just add columns. So this is like maybe a to-do list and then needs planning in progress and then done. So the idea is it has more of a life cycle. And you could do it more like a life cycle where this is just a new task and you keep on working more work. And then as you define this, do something, the idea is that it would move from one column to the next. So you could like literally drag this from to do to need planning, and then this new task might be in progress, and then eventually you would get it over to the done. And the bad news about the Kanban board is that you actually have to double click on it to get the details. Whereas in the list view, it kind of pops up the additional screen over to the right. And so I'm going to recommend at this point that we don't use the boards. I just wanted to show you what that was if it were to come up that there's two different views of a project. This is called a board project versus a list project. But I'm going to actually just delete this now. And so we're not even going to need that one. And so back to the project views, we're going to look at the different types of projects here. And I'm going to ask that we kind of collaborate this as a staff so that we're not just creating projects on the fly. The idea is to keep the project list kind of small and kind of aligned by department. And then underneath each project, you can then kind of identify your tasks and your statuses. Now, the beautiful thing is once we start setting due dates and assignments, then the people that are the recipients or the signees would be getting emails, and they can reply to those emails as well as start a dialogue within each of these. So like I have set up an Asana proof of concept, and so that's what I'm doing right now. And so you could actually start a conversation about this, creating video on how to use Asana. And then you could post that, and then everybody could see the comments specifically about this task and keep track of that. Now, whenever it's assigned to me, this is my other me. This is a different email address I'm using for my business. So if I like change this assignment to be Lieutenant Schramm, then what I want to show you that while these are organized by projects, there's also this view up here called My Tasks. And if you click on My Tasks, you're going to just see the assignments or the tasks that are assigned to you, like this one I just assigned, and then any upcoming tasks. And we can get into more details about how you're clicking on this button, you can mark it for today, upcoming, or later. You could actually change the project that it's assigned to, and again, add more details. So this is kind of the real quick way to get to your tasks. And a dashboard is also a good way to add. You could add project summaries. This is adding a project to your dashboard. Like if I wanted to keep track of cadet programs, I can add that to my dashboard, and then maybe administration, and you create your dashboard of what's really going on, the number of tasks and the number of updates. I don't use the dashboard so much, but I do use my task list a lot, and then I create, add my favorites up here. Oh, I was going to show you that. So administration is here. So like if I wanted to add cadet programs up to administration as a favorite, you just click over here and add to favorites. You could also color code, as you see. There's all kinds of stuff that you could do in terms of copying projects and adding it to the dashboard, things like that. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on how we could potentially use this as a tool to keep us organized in terms of setting goals and creating tasks. And then I plan on rolling it out to cadet staff as well, so that you could keep track of as cadet line staff and the executive staff, the work that needs to help to happen to keep our squadron moving forward. So hope that helps. Please forward me any questions, and maybe we'll have a follow-up video. Otherwise, have a great day.